sorry guys. That was on YouTube. Just make it.
Hello, thank you for calling. Gig up! Come on, Miyuki, watch where you're throwing those things.
I grew up in a pretty good-sized town. High school grades always had between 800 and 1,000 students. The town was about 45 minutes to an hour from the second biggest city in our state, which is known for 3 rivers and many bridges. I have 2 older brothers, which means obviously I'm the youngest of 3 boys. Our mother was the general manager at our grandpa's golf course, and our father was in the state police, a lieutenant at the time this all happened. Cop Dad could be hard on us, but all 3 of us learned to always be respectful, no matter what, unless extreme situations called for us not be. I will say that due to a very dark history, I've never had a close relationship with my brothers or parents. Even with all that, I'll also admit that this made my dad and I slightly closer, if only for a short period of time. When I was 15, I went to the downtown area, getting food and ice cream with my friends, at a place about a half-mile from the high school football stadium. Seeing as we were only 15, going into our 10th grade year of high school, we all rode our bikes to meet up. When we came back outside, I realized that my bike was missing. After my friends and I checked the immediate area, I called my dad, knowing that he was home from work. He drove down to where I was. We all figured that he'd be pissed at us, which actually he wasn't. All of my friends got on their bikes and headed off in different directions, all of them looking for my bike. As my dad and I were driving back to the part of town we lived in, we saw 2 males and 1 female walking down a side street. The group was pushing my bike as they walked, causing me to snap to attention and say aloud, "They have my bike!" My dad stopped immediately and put the car into park. We jumped out, and I laughed inside due to seeing my dad go from regular guy to cop dad. Well, he had the girl and 1 guy stand up against the wall with their faces touching it, and he slammed the guy with the bike to the ground. I grabbed the bike and put it in the bed of our truck. Since there were only 2 of us against 3 of them, my dad told me, "Get in the truck so they don't see your face." I said screw that. It wasn't until years later that I came to regret that. The cops came and arrested all 3 of them. Fast forward 2.5 years. I was 18 and home from my freshman year of military college across the state. I was out jogging around 6 PM one night on the sidewalk next to the road when a car flew past me and sat at a stop sign until I passed. Luckily, I was close to my home and memorized the car's details as much as I could. The vehicle started moving again, this time a lot slower, and I walked into my house just as they were passing by. I figured that they'd just seen me jogging and slowed down as a result. Nothing unusual. Fast forward 1 week. I just finished up another jog. I walked into the house through the front door, which leads right into the kitchen. A kitchen that had a big window overlooking the driveway, front yard, street, and stop sign. As soon as I walked to the sink by the window to splash some cold water on my face, I heard a loud bang from outside. Sounded like an M80 exploding. Then 1 second of silence, followed by 3 loud booms in quick succession, which, thanks to being a hunter, I knew was gunfire. I dropped down, crawled to the door, grabbed the baseball bat my brothers and I sometimes used, and ran outside. I knew a bat had 0% chance of winning against a firearm, but I was hoping I'd surprise him. When I got outside, they were driving away, and I recognized the vehicle from a week earlier. It was the same one that had sat at the stop sign when I was jogging. Thankfully, no one was at home at the time, or who knows where they would have been standing when this happened. On screen are photos of my childhood home, showing where some of the bullets hit. After the police came and I'd given my statement, we waited. Like I said, the town was big, but it was also small enough that a lot of people knew each other. The town's police and my brothers all joked with me, asking me things like, "Did you try and be a hero when no one else was around?" Or would ask if I was crazy due to running outside towards gunfire while only holding a bat. Well, 2 or 3 days passed before we received the call from the cops, saying that they'd caught the guy who shot at my house. As it turns out, it was the same guy who stole my bike 2.5 years earlier. After finding that out, my dad and I looked at each other without saying anything. He'd seen me finish up my jog and walk into the house by pure chance. The guy received 10 years for attempted murder with a weapon, but didn't even serve the whole sentence. So we went on with our lives. I became an EMT during college, working on weekends, then finished school. When I was 26 years old, I stopped by my parents' house one day when I was in the area. I walked into the kitchen, and on the kitchen table was the town's newspaper. The front page read something along the lines of, "Local woman missing. Vehicle found abandoned and burned." I started reading the article, and almost immediately ripped the table off its frame with rage. The article said that the missing woman's boyfriend was the same guy who had stolen my bike and shot at my parents' house. He wasn't arrested or charged with any crime related to the missing woman. I left and went back to my apartment about an hour away. Even through all my rage, I was still paranoid.
How can you have rage when it's like, man, I wouldn't have rage. I would probably just be scared. I'll probably move or something. That's a hint to move somewhere else. Like move to another town. You're just staying in the same town where that guy can literally just get you at any moment. That's a smart idea.
Paranoid that the guy was following me somehow. My parents left their house for a week to stay at my grandpa's house.
Yeah, and maybe never come back to that house again. He's giving you a hint here.
Life went on from there. The guy who shot at my house is currently in prison on other charges not related to the slaying of his girlfriend.
No. We're not watching any